in his corner, I don't think he should be fighting at 147 at all. I don't even think he should be fighting at 154.
Really?
I think he should be fighting at 160 or 168.
Wow.
That's just where I'm born at.
So is that kind of a thing with like some of the fighters that are working with Turki Alalshikh now as they go over to Riyadh and a lot of that is invested in the economy there. They're getting paid.
I never met him. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. I can't really speak on his situation or speak on another fighter's situation. I'm just telling you my outlook on how. It's just my.
Floyd Mayweather is looking to take his exhibition fights up a notch after meeting with Turki Alalshikh to discuss a potential showdown with Terence Crawford during Riyadh season. Mayweather wants to put an end to the ongoing debate among boxing fans about who is the better fighter. While Crawford is the only active boxer with a record that comes close to Mayweather's flawless 50-0, Mayweather sees this as the perfect chance to settle the score in the ring.
I had a chance to hang around Terence, and both guys, class act.
The debate over who has the stronger resume continues, but Mayweather is aiming for 2 big wins, securing a massive payday and settling the rivalry with Terence Crawford. His long-awaited meeting with Turki Alalshikh finally happened, as both are major players in the boxing world. Mayweather made the trip to Saudi Arabia to personally discuss his exhibition plans, with a fight against Crawford at the top of his list. However, there's one obstacle. Crawford is focused on a potential showdown with Canelo Alvarez later this year. But before diving into that, the meeting between Mayweather and Alalshikh kicked off with mutual respect.
Yeah. No, Crawford. We have a thought about him, but our taste, we can support to have him.
His Excellency Turki Alalshikh has always praised Floyd Mayweather, recently telling Carl Froch that fighters dream of a career like Mayweather's. Undefeated records like his come along once every 50, 60, or even 70 years. With Riyadh season joining forces with UFC President Dana White, Alalshikh is working on big plans to reshape boxing, making the sport more accessible and ensuring a single loss doesn't define a fighter's value. But what does Mayweather think about these changes?
Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever, keep it real, boss, keep it real.
I'm never that.
In a conversation with Brian Mackay, Floyd Mayweather shared what's currently on his radar and didn't hold back on offering advice to the younger generation. During the interview, Alalshikh's name came up while discussing local investments and business growth. Mackay then brought up His Excellency Turki Alalshikh and the growing trend of fighters heading to Riyadh for bigger paychecks. However, Mayweather didn't seem too concerned about it. When asked, he simply said, "I don't know, I've never met him. He seems like a pretty cool guy." While he has no strong opinions on Alalshikh or the fighters competing under Riyadh season, Mayweather made it clear he can only speak from his own experience.
Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fight. I never looked at him like...
"I can't really speak on his situation or another fighter's situation," Mayweather said, emphasizing that his focus remains on his own investments and guiding the younger generation to make smart financial choices. But what led to the discussion about Turki Alalshikh in the first place? In the same interview with Brian Mackay, the boxing legend was asked about his health routine and the biggest lessons from his career. Mayweather gave an insightful response, stressing that health is the real wealth. He explained how his dedication to fitness inspired him to launch his own supplement line and expand his fitness gyms worldwide.
On my investments and giving the young generation some advice.
Yes, for sure. And obviously your story is 100% a success story. You know, if people know about areas in Grand Rapids and to see where you were, where you came from and where you are now is 100%.
Well, it wasn't just Grand Rapids. I had a chance. My mother, her family is from Jersey.
After retiring, Mayweather was frequently asked about the vitamins and workouts that kept him in top shape. This demand led him to create his own supplement line, One of One. His reason for launching it was simple: too many people are dying young. Mayweather also spoke in depth about his investments, particularly in real estate. He urged the younger generation to make smart, accessible investments with solid returns. His real estate venture, V Properties, is one way he's giving back to his home country. For the younger generation, my advice is simple. If you invest in something, you should be able to access it within a reasonable time, he explained. Mayweather prefers investing in the U.S. because he understands the country's laws and regulations, unlike foreign markets, which can be unpredictable due to shifting policies.
As well as New York and Florida. So when I was a kid, I would go back and forth. A lot of times in Jersey, a lot of time in New York. Then I go back to Grand Rapids. So born and raised in Grand Rapids, but I spent a lot of time in Jersey as well as New York when I was young. Awesome.
Yeah. Got you. So you talking about career, and I think a lot of that does really tie into what you're doing now, and I'm sure there's definitely time.
Mayweather believes this approach leads to more secure and predictable returns. I try to invest in my country. I try not to invest in another country because the laws may change. I know the laws where I live and where I was born, said the 15-time world champion. He also pointed out that he and Turki Alalshikh share something in common. They're both smart investors, not only in various industries but also in the sport of boxing. Meanwhile, during this time, Terence Crawford and Turki Alalshikh were working to make the Canelo fight happen.
Is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation.
In the past, Canelo Alvarez had asked for $110 million to fight Crawford, while he demanded $200 million for a potential matchup against David Benavidez, citing the higher risk involved due to the size difference between them. When asked about the payout he'd want to face Crawford, Canelo told a reporter he'd need $150 million. It's unclear whether that was a serious demand or just posturing. What's also uncertain is whether this response led Turki Alalshikh to reconsider pushing for the Canelo-Crawford super fight.
Yes, man touchdown.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Majimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about...
For those of us who've been in the boxing world for a while, we know that the threat of a fight falling through is a daily reality, especially when it comes to negotiations. But if both sides truly want the fight, it will happen eventually.
And he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.
Despite interest from promoters, Canelo Alvarez has cooled on the idea of a mega fight with Terence Crawford. In a conversation with the media, Canelo explained why he would demand $150 million for a potential matchup against Crawford.
Claro que no. La quiero para mi hijo, por favor. Sí, no, aquí yo creo que Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They wanna make that fight because it's a payday, obviously. But I don't want that fight. I think Teofimo deserves more than me. He's the king at 140 right now.
Yeah. Turki has said that he's...
Canelo Alvarez acknowledged that fighting Terence Crawford would be a major risk, but he's willing to take it if the money is right, saying it could happen as soon as tomorrow. However, a $150 million payout would require a huge gate for the promoters to make any profit, something Turki Alalshikh understands well. Alalshikh addressed Canelo's demand on his social media, saying, "I heard Canelo said he respects me but doesn't like the way we do business. As for him respecting me, it doesn't matter to me if he does or not. As for the way I do business, I know why he doesn't like it, because I only target big fights at fair prices. So, of course, anyone who prefers easy fights won't like that." That's not all. Alalshikh also questioned Canelo Alvarez's ability as a fighter. He stated that Canelo has been seeking easier fights since his loss to Bivol. "I know how he feels after losing to Bivol, so he's been looking for easier fights ever since," Alalshikh said. He also added, "I'm not the one afraid of fighting Benavidez or Crawford. I knew he was wasting our time, making excuses with big money amounts that can't be paid. I'm focused on making big fights that benefit the boxing world, while he's on his way to creating easy show-only fights."
Fight anymore. What's your reaction or your response to that?
Wait, take it easy. My response to Turkey is this. Yesterday, they text me. They text me and say, we can talk about the fight in February with Crawford. Yeah, they text me yesterday, and I say, look, I'm not gonna talk about any other fight. I'm focused on.
This situation was disheartening for Terence Crawford, who had viewed a fight with Canelo Alvarez as the biggest opportunity of his career, a fight that would guarantee him his highest payday. After months of delayed talks, Canelo has now agreed to a $100 million purse for the fight.
Canelo's going back and forth with Turki, and if that fight is off the table, are you really motivated still by becoming undisputed at 54? And yeah, like what?
This situation was disheartening for Terence Crawford, who had viewed a fight with Canelo Alvarez as the biggest opportunity of his career, a fight that would guarantee him his highest payday. After months of delayed talks, Canelo has now agreed to a $100 million purse for the fight.
What's the biggest motivating goal or fight out there if the Canelo fight just can't happen?
To be honest, that was my motivation.
Terence Crawford has been linked to several big names for his next fight, including unified super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez. Since making his Riyadh season debut against Madrio, these fantasy matchups seem more likely, but fans will have to wait a bit longer for Crawford's return to the ring. Speaking on DAZN's Ariel in the boxing show, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, the man behind the Riyadh season events, revealed that Crawford was considered for the recently announced card. However, Crawford will now have to wait until later in 2025 to get back in the ring. I tried and pushed to make this fight happen, but Crawford is not ready, Alex said.
It's crazy and it makes me laugh.
Crawford is dealing with a minor health issue, a small injury, but he prefers to fight with them in May or after. While there hasn't been an official announcement yet, the buzz around this potential super fight is growing. Boxing insiders believe that if this fight happens, it could become one of the biggest events ever held in Las Vegas. While details are still developing, speculation points to a possible fight date in late 2025, with September 16th being a strong contender, aligning with Canelo's tradition of fighting around Mexican Independence Day. Fans and analysts are eagerly waiting for confirmation, hoping for a thrilling showdown that could reshape the boxing landscape.
Saying in the media and whatnot about the size and he won't get no credit and all this type of things, but Canelo been fighting smaller guys his whole career.
Crawford, stepping up from light middleweight, aims to join the elite ranks with a championship in a third weight class. This clash is shaping up to be legendary, bringing together two of the sport's brightest stars in a fight that promises to captivate the boxing world.
The fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy.
Excited boxing fans fill a vibrant and crowded arena, eagerly awaiting a potential mega fight. The atmosphere is electric, with fans decked out in merchandise from their favorite boxers. Some hold up banners, chanting rallying cries for the thrilling matchup. The anticipation builds as the announcement is displayed on the main screen. Boxing insiders suggest that, if it happens, this fight could become one of the largest events ever staged in Las Vegas.
Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason.
While details are still unfolding, speculation suggests a possible fight date in late 2025, with September 16th being a prime contender, perfectly aligning with Canelo's tradition of fighting around Mexican Independence Day.
Look, I don't like the way he talks, and I'm not in this position because of any. I'm in this position. If he wants to work with me, it's in my way, not in their way.
What was
I don't need it.
What didn't you like about how he approached? Like, what was
it's not the.
In an interesting twist, early predictions about the fight's outcome have started to emerge. Initial analysis suggests that Crawford may take the first round cautiously, assessing Canelo's style. As the rounds progress, the fight is expected to become a strategic battle, with Crawford potentially securing a narrow victory by split decision.
Way to approach. It's not the way to approach to me. Look, I respect everybody and I respect Turki, but look, if he wants to work with me, it need to be in my way.
You said you feel Crawford is easy. You felt that Crawford to you is easy money.
Regardless of the final result, both fighters are set to leave a lasting legacy in the sport. Will Canelo's power and experience overcome Crawford's technique? Only time will tell. However, recent discussions surrounding a potential fight between Crawford and Canelo sparked by Turki Alalshikh, have created a media frenzy. After Canelo Alvarez made a humorous comment, Alalshikh revealed that he's no longer interested in pursuing the bout. Instead, he shifted focus to building Crawford's profile in the U.S. market, while also promoting other top fighters like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Gervonta Davis. Alalshikh took to X, formerly Twitter, late Monday night to announce, "Just wrapped up an important meeting with my team, planning for upcoming fights in 2024 and 2025. I've decided to disregard the Canelo fight. I don't want it anymore. Instead, I'll focus on the U.S. market with bigger fights, especially for the legendary Crawford." He also shared his plans for Riyadh season's Wembley edition on September 21st, featuring Anthony Joshua vs. Dubois, and based on the results of other upcoming events, such as Bivol vs. Beterbiev on October 12th. He's planning cards for the Fury vs. Usyk rematch on December 21st and another major event in early 2025. Four-division and unified super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez later confirmed to his occasional promoter Eddie Hearn that he feels the same way about the fight, expressing his lack of interest at the first stop of his press tour in New York.
Look, I'm focused 100% on my fight, and I don't really care about it. They called me yesterday. They texted me yesterday if it's possible to talk.
Eddie Hearn asked Canelo, "Hey, we want to talk about the Crawford fight in February, and Turki Alalshikh wants to meet you in person in Los Angeles." To which Alvarez replied, "Look, I don't want to talk about the fight. It's clear that Alalshikh's influence in the boxing world is undeniable. His significant investment in the sport has led many fighters to flock to Saudi Arabia, or accept massive purses they've never seen before, to fight under the Riyadh season banner."
A Crawford fight for February, or meet to yesterday here in Los Angeles with him, and I say, "Look, I'm 100."
The peak of Turki Alalshikh's recognition came on Saturday night at the Los Angeles card, where Crawford defeated Israel Madrio by unanimous decision to capture the WBA 154 pounds belt. Interrupting the event's flow, the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, along with promoters Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya, held a ring ceremony to grant Alalshikh a special induction into the hall, despite the fact that he has never staged a fight in the state. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez remained focused on his own path, bowing to no one.
Focus on this fight, and I can talk about other fights. Maybe that's why he talked about that today, because I say I'm not ready to talk about other fights.
Maybe that's why they announced this, because I said no, I don't want to talk about the fight. Alvarez said, "I'm very focused on this fight." Alalshikh said the UFC card would eat Alvarez's show in a stunning development that set the boxing world AB buzz a dream matchup inches closer to reality. Turki Alalshikh, the mastermind behind Riyadh season, dropped a bombshell about Canelo versus.
Said that he would be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
I give him the offer. If he's smart, he will accept it.
That'll work here. So if yeah, you're in. So if the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not?
The chairman of the General Entertainment Authority revealed he's made an offer to Canelo Alvarez. This potential mega fight could put two of boxing's brightest stars against each other. Alalshikh didn't mince words when discussing the proposal with Dean. "I gave Alvarez an offer. If he's smart, he'll accept it. If they accept, we want to see this fight," said Alalshikh via DAZN. "But if he doesn't, I want Ortiz. If they accept, we want to see this fight." Floyd Mayweather doesn't seem so interested in this whole thing, hence he's only bent in making the most money possible in an exhibition fight against Terence Crawford.
I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in. Because, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford, because he move a lot and the fight is not that great.
While Crawford is still active, this may be an impossible pursuit, but should Terence Crawford desire a retirement after his fight against Canelo Alvarez, then Mayweather may prepare himself for the huge matchup. Terence Crawford remains an all-time great, and if Floyd Mayweather's goal is to prove who's the greatest, it may be too late, or that now, seeing how old Floyd Mayweather WA is in the end, we can always admit that boxing is a sport of eras, and while we can appreciate certain fighters and weigh their abilities up against others, we wouldn't always be able to clearly figure it all out, because fighters are only active in their era. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.